What is one thing people do that really grinds your gears? Situational unawareness. Like blocking the entire aisle of a grocery store with your body and your cart while looking at food. Not lubricating my gears in oil. When I'm about to do something, a chore, for example, and they tell me to do the thing that I was just about to do. Great. Now I don't wanna. Not even when I'm just about to do it. Tell me repeatedly to do something, and the more you tell me, the less I want to do it. Drives me nuts. Talk but don't listen. Throwing face masks and disposable gloves in the street, especially if, like my nan, your property backs up to a shopping center car park and people just throw them over the fence into her garden. Rude. Any and all littering is disrespectful to the environment and the people and animals living there. My husband and son just went out and picked up a huge trash bag full of litter in our neighborhood, which is normally clean. Spelled definitely as defiantly. Those are two different words, so they spell it as definitely. That's wrong too. I also see loose spelled as loose way too much. Switching up your and your. I still get it wrong at times when I'm not thinking about it, and just typing fast feels bad, man. You're right. Deliberately toss their trash on the street. Or don't clean up their dog's poop. Where I live there's a trend of bagging it, but then leaving the full bags on the street or on tree branches. Sometimes I'm not at all surprised we're having a pandemic. With the poop, it's so stupid that they take the effort to bag it, but then leave it. It would have been better if you had done nothing at all and left it unbagged. At least then it can wash away and decompose. But no, you expended effort to make it unable to decompose and become actual litter. Using a instead of an. Ooh, same. I am not perfect, but if people do it way too often, it tears me apart from inside. No one's imperfect being, really. Lip smacking while eating. God, I hate that one. Also people who eat with their mouths open, but when you point it out, they reply, "What? I'm not eating with my mouth open," whilst they have food in their mouths. Yes, this, and also people who don't drink their drink but inhale it with that fucking sluurrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr. With the new pandemic that has risen, people who mass buy shit that they don't fucking need. I'm a cashier and they freak out when I tell them we have a limit on certain items. They also always say there wasn't a sign when we have dozens posted, or can I buy it separately? Like that changes anything. 3 gallons of bleach and 24 paper towels won't prevent you from getting sick, especially when some of them don't even wear masks. Entering a room, my room, bathroom, toilet, without knocking. If you see a closed door, knock. People who want to argue with service workers. Oh yes, especially about rules they didn't make, they just enforce. Those people that walk slow while they're texting and take most of the sidewalk. Happened to me today. Or slow walk across the crosswalk. You used the wrong there, it is there. Constantly posting their opinions as fact when they have no real education or research behind the subject. My family members poke fun at my more liberal political views, usually saying that I'm young and don't know anything. They keep using the wrong you're in there. Yes. The classic gaslighting of saying you're naive because you're liberal. As I get older and explore the world around me, I have switched from conservative to liberal. Most of my friends work 2 jobs just to make ends meet. This isn't how things should be. When people guilt you into something you're uncomfortable with, saying could have instead of could have. This is why people should read more books or paid more attention in school. Is it possible you're mistaking could have for could have? This is usually the root issue. People hear could have all the time, and since it sounds like could have, they get confused. When people have phone conversations on speakerphone in public, or listen to their shitty music on phone speakers in public, calling them steamed hams to spite the fact they are obviously grilled. It's an Albany expression. Aurora borealis. Littering. More and more people have been talking to me while using their phone. It's so rude. This really pisses me off. I get shit off people for not answering a text, but the same people will happily ignore me and put their full attention into their phone while I'm sitting right there in front of the monsieur. Using literally in a metaphorical sense. I wish that word would just go away. It seems like a lot of people don't know how to use it correctly. They either use it when they're being figurative or they add it to the sentence when it's not necessary. I've heard that's now an accepted use of the word due to commonality. When you're having a private conversation, and someone just barges right in and takes over, completely dominating what's said. Or the opposite, listening to a private conversation all sneaky. I had this the other day. My boss took me away for a conversation. For privacy. When we got back, the music was suddenly paused and the kid in the other room had moved closer to where the conversation was. It just bothers me how shameless he did it. Just thinking I wouldn't notice. People trying to one-up you when you talk about your feelings. I have a handful of older coworkers who will constantly ask me to email them a file, say, a presentation, or a customer-facing document or the like that I've sent them before. Sometimes multiple times. It's like they don't see it as their responsibility to keep track of things or keep their files organized. Each time it only takes a minute to send the file. So I can't give them too hard a time about it or I look petty. But it's just lazy and disrespectful. Do they think I don't have other things to do? I'm not their secretary or something. I have my own job. Learn how to use the shared storage drives. Or, if not, then download files to a folder on your computer so you can keep track of them as your hell. You can even save them right to the desktop if that's easier. It's not that hard. Rant. You gotta bust out the per my last email while forwarding them the email with the file attached. Passive-aggressive and gets the job done. Politicians not crediting the people who actually wrote their speeches. Come on guys. At least give them a shout-out on social media or something. Asking obvious stupid questions. Asking what? Asking if everything is okay when a person obviously has something broken. It would be nicer in my opinion if one would ask, do you need help? Rather than, are you okay? Quote, be cruel or hateful to other people. Slow walkers. Like bruh, if you're taller than me and I have a medical problems which my hips and you're a normal, healthy human, come on. I hate this too, but I walk really fast so I end up pissed off at everyone. People who say generally when they mean genuinely. Misspelling is generally a bad thing. Now tell me, which one did I use? Generally. Pretty easy one, it says it right there. Randomly popping into my room while I'm sleeping, turn on the lights and watch the TV at full volume. This is a common trope but exactly my parents. At night I have to be quiet as a mouse or my mom, dad would come into my room and scream about how I'm waking the whole house. In the mornings, however, starting at 6 a.m. sharp, even on weekends, my mom would immediately start running the vacuum, come into my room and switch on every light to look for some lost artifact in a closet, turn on the TV at full volume, or start exciting my dog and allow her to bark endlessly. And if I complained, said something, they'd say, oh well, you should already be up, never mind me. Working until 3 to 4 a.m. the night before. And having to work at 5 p.m. that day until 3 to 4 a.m. again. I should just suffer sleep loss at their expense. Then they wondered why I was always tired. Are suspiciously specific. How many people will walk down the road next to the sidewalk for no fucking reason? That's the worst when you're driving. Like freaking get out of the road. I don't like how people put others down to feel superior. They act like they're always a perfect driver, a perfect cook, or a perfect parent. They need to calm down and maybe do some self-reflection. Texting while driving and drunk driving. You don't realize how dangerous it is until you kill someone. Then you have to live with that guilt your entire life. Could even be charged with murder. Reckless endangerment. Stop distracted driving. You're hurtling a metal, hard plastic box of glass of rubber down a road at 30 to 50 miles per hour. Down a road and you want to text or scroll social media? Stop it. I used to have a friend who almost literally never put his phone down. He liked to Snapchat and scroll Instagram while driving. Constantly. He's nearly 30, had been in 2 bad accidents, but blames one on falling asleep at the wheel and the other on the other driver. I really wonder sometimes. Greater than used to have good call. Family Guy references. They really grind my gears. Insisting on asking for something when I said that I didn't want to. Or just being annoying, an asshole in general. When people talk or ask questions during a movie, it's okay once in a while. But you ask a questions or talk the whole goddamn time, you get on my shit list. Was looking for this answer. I have a weak attention span as it is, and I hate distractions when I'm trying to watch something, draw or whatever. Background noise in general tbh. Seriously, especially when the answers would be obvious if they just watched the dang movie. Just teachers telling me to speak more in class. Like I understand everything, so why do I have to ask questions to prove that I understand? Maybe they want you to speak more in class because you understand everything and they want to hear your unique thoughts on the subject. Also, many students think they've understood perfectly but a few keen questions from the teacher or other students, and they realize that actually there was more to the idea than they had originally thought. I get what you're saying. Sometimes asking a question could open new ideas and help me learn something I didn't know about. Perhaps. But it has gotten to a point where I hear it from most of my teachers every year. And I won't stop hearing it. When people scapegoat their poor or unjust decisions with "that's just how the world is," or "that's just who I am." When someone pulls out their phone and goes on WhatsApp or another messenger service while you are speaking to them, generally these people will start the conversation, talking about themselves, their day, etc. And as soon as the other person starts speaking, bam, phone in hand, not listening to a word being said. When African Americans or AA men are overtly homophobic or sexist or display toxic masculinity, etc. I am Black and I hate it when my peers are so rude and bold about these topics. Like raising a homophobic child is like raising a racist child, and they're just as bad as the white power folks to me. In that moment, it really boils me. Like I am Black, I get that we're treated horribly. But that's no excuse to be ever so bold and insulting. Just BC boys kiss boys. It literally has nothing to do with you. Get that mad at Black injustice, please. I beg you. My roommate would always clip his toenails in the living room and they would fly everywhere. One time I was making something in the kitchen and a toenail flew all the way from the living room into the rice. I discovered it as I was eating. That is awful. Speak really loudly on the phone. Like they're right there. The mic is right at her ear. There's no need to shout. When people snuff their nose instead of using a tissue. Like when you do it really hard so the snot goes back. The noise makes me want to punch them. I hate when people are unable to show disagreement without insulting and swearing to the other person. When people ask me a question because they're too lazy to figure out the answer themselves. If it's a simple Google search away, or takes minimal effort from you to get up and think it through, please don't waste my time walking behind a car when a car is in reverse. Back when I was in undergrad, I was pulling out of a parking lot and I had checked all my mirrors to make sure everything was clear and even checked my blind spot. However, as I am short, this pretty much limits how much of the blind spot I can see, since I can only see so much over the headrest. Well, I was about to pull out and suddenly I hear someone tapping on my car, so I pulled it back into park and this lady is tapping on the hood of my car and yelling at me that I was supposed to look before reversing. WTF, lady, I was looking before I started reversing. You weren't even there in my mirrors or in my range of vision when I looked back to check my blind spot beforehand. Use the terms doggo and human. Chewing with an open mouth. Work at a grocery store. When customers ask for the price of something that they are standing right in front of with a huge sign that had a specials price on it, like, bro, just look up, it's right there. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.